Hello everyone to week number 21, so the Bitcoin week of the year 2019. We had Bitcoin Pizza Day, and I think today is Bitcoin Day. I don't know who actually announced this. I'm in Liechtenstein, and we are preparing lots of work around the charitable Eternity Crypto Foundation, which of course also includes how we are going to handle the BRI and paying this out for development work in the future. Also today at 6 p.m. there is a 1-year anniversary of the Eternity House of Blockchain, which we started here in Liechtenstein 1 year ago. It's a co-working space for blockchain startups, but there are also lawyers and other people who joined this initiative, what's really nice, and it's recognized here from the country, and it's giving us a nice base and also space to work, but also to work to talk about regulations and things. So this is why I am in Liechtenstein right now. On the technical side, of course, we are still planning the hard fork, the upcoming one. And at the same time, we are giving technical support for exchanges that want to integrate Eternity mainnet. There is lots of community work going on in terms of articles and other stuff. Also, there's a developer workshop planned in Berlin between the 12th and 14th of June, if nothing changes. Also in Berlin, there is We Are Developers, a big conference where some of us participate and give workshops. Also Robert Wording will be there. I think this is also an interesting thing if somebody is close to Berlin and would like to join and meet some of our of the people who are working in this ecosystem. And I think there are also some interesting announcements coming up, but this is not what the call is made for. This call is for technical updates, development updates, and I would like to start with core dev, as we spend like most of the resources still, or most of the support from the from development side goes into the protocol development. Which will also continue like this until the last hard fork and every token has been completely migrated from Ethereum to the Eternity mainnet. So Sergey, please start and give your update. We cannot hear you, Sergey, or I cannot hear you. You're muted, I think.
Yes, now. So now activities from the core dev of the last 2 weeks and what we're planning to do in the next few weeks. So yesterday was a big day. We uploaded our official 3.0 release, which will trigger, if everything goes according to plan, the next hard fork, like I think around the 5th of June. So it's already uploaded to the GitHub, tagged as 3.0.1 because there was some hiccups early in 3.0.0, but now they all were corrected. So the release is there. So everybody is very encouraged to download it, install on their nodes, and be ready for the hard fork, which will kick in on the 5th of June. And yes, but for us it's now business as usual. So we test the post-hard fork features and continue working on the features for the next release cycle, so which will be right now implementing support of generalized accounts for state channels, extensive testing of Stratum, which we plan to release within the next few weeks, work on Fate, which will be released with the next hard fork, so we're beginning of the autumn. And I'm looking right now on the list of tickets. Yes, and improving the state channels and doing the maintenance, like optimizing the mempool, mining, and this is it.
Thank you, Sergey. Also good to hear that there are no critical stuff popped up. I mean, we still encourage, of course, everyone to look into it and also try to hack. We also have quite high bounties, I think, up and running on Hacker One, or what's the platform where we hosted it. So there are also bounties getting paid out for people who find bugs. So everybody encouraged who likes protocols, jump into it and play around and help us to find what we haven't found yet. So next person I would like to hear is Pivo. Pivo, you already said before we started recording that you discovered some fun stuff and preparing for the We Are Developers workshop. Give us some insights about your past work.
Yes, as you just said, in the last few days I was preparing for the We Are Developers workshop, where we want the participants to build their own Do app contract in Sophia, and we want to give them an app framework around where if they start coding their config, they see the results right away, and if it works or not, or what the changes are. And we wanted to include some of the advanced features of Sophia and found minor bugs in our compiler where it doesn't behave as expected for decoding and encoding some values to the HTTP interface. This was quite interesting, and we're going to fix this now. This doesn't need a fork, it's just a minor fix for the API connections. Also, what I worked on is the website demo, where the week before we built a demo application to showcase internally, to see decide how we want to continue this effort, and I investigated possibilities to include the base app as a demo on the website and check it out how this works. The third thing I was working on is the Elixir SDK, where we continued to add tests for our naming system. We fixed some of the fee calculation where we had minor issues there. And we started upgrading the whole SDK to Node version 3. So when we do the first release in a few weeks, this will be for Fortuna only, from Fortuna only. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I think we all should also reach out to the Elixir community and spread the news as soon as we have it out. So if people know good places where to do this, also welcome, not only in development, but also in, of course, the population of the software that's getting built day by day. So if you populate this better, then more people will use it, and we will get more feedback, and everything will just become better. So also for listeners or viewers of this short video cast, this is also a help where you can definitely help even if you're not a developer. I'd like to go to Stoyan, as he also has some great news. I think I at least downloaded yesterday the Android app and have fun with it. Everything seems to work quite nice on my side. Stoyan, please give us some more info next to this one.
Sure. So we previously committed to having a release per sprint, but this time we're actually going to do 2 releases. The first one was included the base app being compatible with the upcoming hard fork. So that was very important to make sure that it works, and also that the third-party app can use it. And also the same release we released publicly on Android. We're taking a kind of a soft launch approach. We still want to, have a few people test it thoroughly, and then we're going to tell the world about it. At the same time, we submitted for public release on iOS. It's an interesting journey every time you have to deal with App Store people. In the time, it turned out that because you get a different person who reviews it each time, and this time we got some people that don't think they know what a mnemonic phrase is or a seed phrase. So I'm having to explain to them now that, because they're like, give us the password and the login. And I'm like, there is no login. It's a seed phrase, So the fun begins. I don't know how many rounds this will take, but it has begun. Other than that, there's some small fixes in the release that we did the other day for the SDK. And also, we are making the onboarding easier. So we're moving the recovery phrase back up to the settings. So the user doesn't have to go to that to make an account. And then we're also finishing the app on the same device, which is the deep linking feature between the base app and AirGap. And so we plan to include them in the next release, which is on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. And then we have done a lot of the work on this. We have this security course where the user could learn more about, the difference between decentralized and centralized systems, and not losing their seed phrase and so on and so forth. That's almost done. Mostly, I need to review it and make sure the wording is right, and we could include it either in this upcoming release or the one after. So yeah, that's it. Exciting times in the base app world.
Great. I think it's also a super nice example on where we are when we get the questions from the App Store people on how to log into a wallet. And I think, these are the stuff that you also have to deal with. So it's a lot of UX as kind of, you can compare it to UX, right? And super fun and interesting intro. I will definitely use it in small talks very soon. So
yeah, it's funny that they rely on like username and password. You cannot tell them that there's another way to authenticate.
Yes.
Like in their mind, username and password are like go together. You cannot have something password but no username.
Yeah, super interesting. Yeah, thanks for this insight. And I think, Andreas, you and the AirGap team are also, I'm sure, fighting lots of those things. So please tell us, what would you have been doing in the past days and week?
Yes, usability is obviously always a big issue because we try to focus on security, and usually it's hard to unite usability and security. So this week we have been working on the Ionic 4 update of the wallet. We actually finished it and submitted it to the stores. It's now in review. We also submitted the Chrome extension, and it has just been approved, I think this morning, and we will post an announcement about it in the forums this afternoon. So that's the Eternity part of our AirGap extension. And we also fixed a bug with the Eternity push notifications. And we had a call with AmpNet and are discussing further how they will proceed with integrating AirGap into their product, because there were some also usability feedback they had, which we will now look into.
Great. I have also seen in your newsletter, or one of your older newsletters, that you have received a CoinLib library, something like a very small SDK where you can do basic stuff. Does this also include Eternity?
Yes, of course. This library that we call AirGap CoinLib, it's obviously fully open source, written in TypeScript, and it includes some of the very basic features that also the JavaScript SDK provides, but we built the library in using a standardized interface that is compatible with all, or should be compatible with different blockchains. So this is how we built up our app. So we use this library in both of our apps, the Vault and the Wallet, and when we integrate a protocol, for example Eternity, we only have to make changes in this library, and when we update it in both apps, then it will the changes will work in both apps immediately. Also when we add new currencies. So that's that has been a part of AirGap since the beginning, and Eternity has been one of the first protocols in there.
Cool, really nice. Yeah, I played around with it a little bit, and I think this is a nice thing. And I also believe, it's a personal opinion, but I also believe that with more and more different projects that are building things, also more libraries will be released. Also Pivo, in the beginning, when you built the drone app, you had to first get yourself comfortable with functional programming and basic stuff like a list or I mean, looping through some things and also release parts of this as Sophia libraries basically on our GitHub. And I think we are like step by step trying to collect all those sources and content, so people can then or developers can choose what they feel most comfortable with when they go and start a new project, right? This is also the main work Pega is doing, but I'm not jumping to you now. I first want to kick the ball to Andrea, who basically only writes SDKs but also, I mean, it looks in the middleware. I'm sorry, I didn't want to make the middleware small because I know this is also lots of work. So please give us all your update.
Hello. So yes, as you all know, we are in transition to the Fortuna release. So we have been updating the SDK to support Fortuna. In particular for the JavaScript, we have made a release to complete the support of the JavaScript SDK for contract and state channel for the upcoming release, and the same for Python. We are going to have for the Go SDK, we're going to have a last release today or early next week. That is going to be the last one supporting the Minerva series, and then we are going to have a release for the Fortuna series for the Go, also for the Go SDK. Besides that, we have been working on mostly on documentation this week, and we're going to continue this work to improve the documentation for all the three SDKs. On the middleware side, instead, we have released yesterday a new version, a new stable version of the middleware, the 0.5.0. There is not yet a Docker image. I'm going to publish the Docker image for that release later today. And for the SDK, I can just keep going. And for the middleware, it's all for this week.
Great. It's super nice to hear that also lots of efforts are going to put into documentation now, especially people who are start using all those features and tools. I think they're really dependent to see what is changing, what is breaking, where should they look at, and if they always get those updates in time, then it's also fun to update your apps. And yeah, thank you very much for your and your team's work and everybody who's contributing to this area. Before I come to you, Pega, I will talk with Milen. So Milen, you're in Sofia, I think, huh? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Sofia.
Nice. Cool. Give us updates out of Sofia.
Okay, so this week I've been working on separating the tipping functionality as a separate AE, so it will be able to be used in different wallets as well. For example, in Base App, it can be used as a native app or in other wallets as well. So the tipping functionality will be working not only with the browser extension, but with however people want to implement it. I was implementing events after a few insights from Hans on how to do that, how to do this in the forum. We had a big discussion about this. And I'm simplifying the architecture of the smart contracts. Also, I've integrated with WhatsApp after a quick chat with Nico in the beginning of the week. We now have a functionality tool similar to the Telegram tipping bot, and we can use like payment in WhatsApp. Up until now, it was closed source because it was not. There were no security stuff implemented, but I believe until the next release, which will be Monday or Tuesday, I will open source this functionality as well. And the idea is people should be able to generate a wallet through WhatsApp and send EE tokens to just pointing the number which they want to spend and the amount. Also, I was reviewing and investigating the code of the base app because we were talking about implementing and merging the wallet extension inside it. So I tried to build the base app as an extension, but I stumbled some issues, and I wasn't being able to build extension working this week. But yeah, I will be dedicating more time next week, and probably will have something to discuss with them and how to proceed with this.
Cool, Milan. Yeah, thanks a lot. Where can we find this playing around with WhatsApp?
I can provide in the update later.
Perfect.
And how to use it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Milan.
Thanks.
Pega, now it's your turn. You have heard many people spend lots of efforts in not only building but also writing documentation. I hope this is reaching you and reaching the documentation hub. What has happened in the past week?
Am I still muted?
No, we can hear you clearly.
This week I've started to give feedback and improvement proposals with the help of people regarding to the change logs of the different projects, because I saw there was some room for improvement left, and it's quite important, especially if there are breaking changes, how the app developer can adjust good and easy way to the code, that also they keep working with the newer updates, and it will be less questions afterwards if it's like their proper change logs. So that's why I put time and effort into it, and that they are already improved by, for example, from the SDK team, but also from the Forge AE project. So I'm quite happy about this result. And besides that, I've talked with Moritz from Decade about developing a quick start tutorial for the documentation hub together, because those that are existing at Decade, they're too long for my imagination. It's just really like a really quick start, and we are working on that together. And I have been testing different apps as well, the playground, the naming app, and base app, and gave feedback as well to this. And besides that, I'm always doing little improvements on the documentation hub. So this is all what I did this week.
Thanks a lot. It's also hard for me to basically go through all the new stuff that's coming out. So I also appreciate that you're doing this here with the documentation hub, and also point me to things that I can also try. But also, again, please, everyone in the community, we really welcome and need as many contributions as possible. Also in the expansions, which are overlooked by Emil, and that hopefully create standards in the future, or like good improvements for the whole ecosystem. So what has been done there, Emil?
Hey, yeah, so last week we had basically two bigger updates. One is on the expansion 2. That is about the communication between wallets and decentralized apps on Eternity, and it was basically addressing the feedback from the base app team that they had. And I think with that now, also at least all teams that are working on wallets right now address the feedback and had time to give feedback and was all incorporated. So I think we're in a very good way with this one. In addition to that, we also have a new update on the deep linking expansion, making it more universal. So before it was more standard for payment requests, but now it can be for any kind of transactions. And so in the upcoming weeks, what we want to work on is to also publish the common standard for Identicon, so that this is that the Identicons look the same, because at least would be nice for the users. People want them to have look the same, so they can compare identicons across different apps and wallets. We will release something for key derivation, and I think this is something also very exciting. We will start to work on a token standard for aeternity.
Great. This is long awaited. I mean, there are translations. I mean, everything sounds very interesting and very important, but also the tokens, I think, are a long awaited thing, and where it needs to put a lot of work into it, as later on we will hopefully also have many exchanges and platforms where you can list and trade and exchange tokens, and to have a very strong and good standard here, I think is very important for every blockchain smart contract protocol. Also, I would like to, before I close this meeting, say one more word that in the past week, nearly 1,000 hours of development work has been done, and I think 51 developers I counted that did some stuff and committed code and wrote. So there is a lot of activity, and these short development update calls just should give a insight into the different areas that's been worked on. And yeah, I also from past week, thank you for all the written updates. I just got today to it to basically quickly post them under the development update week 20. So last week there are written updates. You don't have to do a written update this week, or nobody have to do anything. I'm welcome that you are and happy that you're joining these calls. And yeah, I thank you all and wish you a great weekend, and latest see you again next Friday. That's it. I'm stopping.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.